You're not even gonna say the last name, right? No, I'm just
I
kidding.
said my personal relationships and my engagement process. Yes. So I grew up in the church, um, and I'm very thankful for my experience growing up in the church because I was very invested in church and invested in the people, and I cared a lot about my faith growing up. But I think I only understood the gospel and who Jesus was to the extent that I just could at the time. Um, but yeah, I guess the shift happened for me in college when I went up to the English ministry and then I joined a small group. And I remember specifically going through a book called Finally Alive by John Piper. And I think just spiritually, psychologically, I was like at a point where I was thinking more about my future and just thinking about my life more reflectively. And so, yeah, I was convicted to just think about my faith on a deeper level. And I think as my theology was challenged, um, so was just like my own personal knowledge of what the gospel is and who Jesus is. And so, yeah, I think just being in small groups and learning about that more, I obviously was just confronted more about just so many sins in my past and in my youth and my life that I like habitually struggled with, whether it was like self-image issues or like lust, um, just like lying or just insecurities and all that. I think I yeah, I was forced to confront those more seriously. And it's strange because it's not like I ever had no like recollection of my struggles or my brokenness. I just never think I saw it for what it was. And so, yeah, I think specifically like my junior year in college, I remember just feeling very convicted by God to surrender these things. And then I remember praying for Him to just reveal to me my brokenness, even the parts that I wasn't aware of. And then He sure did, um, which kind of was like the best thing that's happened to me and the worst thing, because it's still like very difficult for me to talk about that time. But yeah, so that was probably like the start of a very difficult, like tumultuous year for me. Because I just felt very overwhelmed and yeah, I just anyways, I felt super hopeless and um I just felt like devastated cuz I just anyways, yeah, I just felt very like I can't be good and I can't do anything good no matter how hard I try. Um so yeah, that was just a hard year for me. And I think, God graciously revealed my brokenness to me on a much more personal level. Um, and then He kind of just pushed me, I guess, to truly like share in confession and repentance with people for the first time. And yeah, I think He really used those people, like their physical presence and like their biblical affirmations and just their acceptance of me as a glimpse of who He is. And so, yeah, I guess that's how I came to know Christ, is just from that experience. And as He used my community to be there for me in those moments, I think I, like, for the first time realized how much deeper Christ knows me and how much greater He loves me too. Yeah, I think when it comes to thinking about when I was in that time of like hiding, but I didn't even know I was hiding from myself or from other people because I thought I was just a very open person up until I was like 21. But yeah, I guess during that time when he was showing to me like there's so many like ugly parts of yourself that you just have like gotten so good at disqualifying or just zoning out, but it's continuously like coming springing back up. um so yeah, I think when it comes to like just thinking about the crazy thoughts I used to have when I was younger, or like just the sexual struggles I've gone through, I think when I did think of those things now in college as a student, I felt like very ashamed of those things, but at the same time very like in need of talking about those things too. And I think what it was like after confessing, it was just like the most humbling and like one of the more freeing experiences I've had, because I think after sharing with my community at the time and just inviting them into that process, um, I was very blessed, but like no person I talked to, like no one like disqualified me, and no one responded in the ways that I anticipated. Like when I would share, they just also identified with it or knew someone else that identified with it. And so I think that was just a blessing to like have been the recipient of someone else's even like human grace. He's God is just leading me through a lot of transitions at the moment, whether it's with my schooling and career or just personal relationships, like dynamics with my family as I go through like the engagement season, um, stepping into a new church and doing membership here. He's just leading me through a lot of transitions, which is amazing and very difficult at the same time. But I think one thing that I'm trying to learn or pray about is that like difficulty is not bad, and challenges are not, doesn't make the process or what these transitions are necessarily wrong, although it like feels that way a lot of the time. um, so yeah, I think he's just leading me through a lot of changes, and I guess just stepping into another season of my life. So yeah, me and Minho, as we just talked about our future, that was one element of the decision, is that we did want to be in the same like spiritual community as one another and experience serving alongside one another, and yeah, just doing ministry together in that way. And so yeah, I think for me it was just a move that I made in hope. And so yeah, that was one element of it, and another one on a more personal or individual basis, I guess, was because even as a non-member of Exchange, so in the past I've just been so blessed by the members here. And like when I recall my experiences with like both older and newer friends, it's like they've just always welcomed me into their lives. And whether it's like coffee or having just these bigger conversations about life, or like being willing to pray for me, um, yeah, I think I've just been on the receiving end of many of the members here. And so I think when I consider that, it's a testament of kind of what this church is about. And um, yeah, I think on a personal level, like I was very looking forward to the idea of kind of stepping into that desire towards discipleship with them. I feel really excited and blessed. I think, yeah, so I did get baptized as an infant and did confirmation, but so I never thought I would have the opportunity to do like baptism as a Christian again. Um, but yeah, reflecting on that, it's like I'm so thankful for it because again, I think even just the questions you've been prompting me, or it helps me to remember, um, like meeting Christ for the first time, and yeah, it's just a reminder. So I don't know, I'm looking forward to kind of making like a physical statement about this new spiritual life that Christ has given me. And yeah, I'm very thankful to be reminded of that all over again.